Hey, you all. This is your lesson on double negatives. So I'm going to share the screen and bring up what I'm using to teach you about double negatives with. And here it is. Okay, so double negatives in English, because as you know, in math, two negatives equal a positive. And it's totally fine in math, but not in English. Here's something that exemplifies that. Okay, whoops, let me move my little recording thing out of the way here. Okay, so double negatives occur when two negative words are used in the same sentence. I'll show you some examples in a sec. Using two negatives usually turns the thought or the sentence into a positive one. So it's having the opposite effect of what you are trying to convey. Double negatives are generally discouraged in English because they are considered to be poor grammar and they can be confusing, very much so. All right, here's some common negative words. No, nothing, no one, not, isn't, wouldn't, hardly, nowhere, never, doesn't, can't, shouldn't. And here's an example. I don't have nobody to mow my lawn. So what you're trying to get across is that there isn't a person available to cut your grass for you. But because you have a double negative and the two words here that are negatives are, oh, I can't do that. Let me go back. The two words that are negative here are, hold on, don't and nobody. So to fix this, you would either, you have to get rid of one of the negative words. So you can either say, I don't have anybody, anybody is a positive word, nobody is a negative word. I don't have anybody to mow my lawn. Now it's clear. Or you could just take out the word don't and say, I have nobody to mow my lawn. That's not as common a way to say it, but that would work. All right, next. That won't do you no good. So what are our two negative words? They are won't and they are no. So that won't do you, you could change no to any, that won't do you any good. Or change won't to a positive word will, that will do you no good. She never goes with nobody. Never and nobody are our negative words. So she goes with nobody, or she always goes with nobody, or she never goes with anybody. Now it's fine. I didn't steal nothing. Negative and negative. Didn't and nothing. I didn't steal anything. I did steal nothing. Kind of a weird way to say it, but it gets the point across. You can't see no one in this crowd. Can't is negative and no one is negative. So you could change that to you can see no one in this crowd, or you can't see anyone in this crowd. They don't never buy me what I want. Don't and never are the words that need to be corrected, one of them. They never buy me what I want, or they don't ever buy me what I want. Never is a negative word, ever is a positive word. All of the witnesses claimed that they didn't hear nothing. So our negative words are didn't and nothing. So all the witnesses claimed they heard nothing or they didn't hear anything. Let's see. Oh, this is the last example. Never do nothing to annoy your teacher. This is the most important example. Never and nothing are your negatives. So always do nothing to annoy your teacher, or never do anything to annoy your teacher. So there is something you probably have noticed, and maybe not, maybe now you will, in song lyrics. Song lyrics allow double negatives. And why do you think that is? It's really because they're basically a type of poetry. And in poetry, the grammar rules are different. Song lyrics are much like many types of poetry in that they don't have to follow standard grammar rules. So here are some, just a few songs that you may have heard that use double negatives. By the Stones, I Can't Get No Satisfaction. This is a Rihanna one, and I don't know this song, maybe you guys do. I wasn't looking for nobody when you looked my way. So wasn't looking for nobody. Can't get no satisfaction. Here's one by Pink Floyd, We Don't Need No Education. Got Nothing to Hide No More. So nothing and no more. Backstreet Boys. And the last one, Kanye, You Can't Tell Me Nothing. All right, this is just something I found when I was putting this together, so I thought I'd throw it in there. This, you guys know what Sara Lee products are, baked products that you can buy at the store. So I don't think they have this tag, this you know, marketing phrase anymore, but they used to have the phrase, nobody doesn't like Sara Lee, where they were using a double negative, but they were doing it in an effective advertising way. So it was fine. So obviously what they're saying here isn't that nobody likes Sara Lee, because they have two negatives. They have nobody and doesn't. So what are they really saying? They're saying everybody likes Sara Lee. Those two negatives make a positive. Everybody likes Sara Lee. Nobody, it's such a weird one. And they used to have a commercial, and they would have, the first part, it was a song, and the first part went, everybody doesn't like something, but nobody doesn't like Sara Lee. And they would have people doing things they hated, like the guy using the jackhammer in the street, or somebody trying to, it was back in the 70s, I think, light a cigarette and their lighter wouldn't work, things like that. And they were getting mad. And then they would show them eating Sara Lee and they were happy. So nobody doesn't like Sara Lee is fine in advertising, because it really was a pretty effective campaign. And here's our last slide. You may have seen this on my bulletin board by my desk. So take a look at it and see if you can understand it now. We have the person on the stand saying, I didn't do nothing. And then you have the jury, which happens to be a jury of English majors, thinking to themselves, ooh, a confession, because he just used a double negative. Two negatives make a positive. So he's basically saying, I did something. So a confession. Okay, and that's your double negatives lesson. Now you have a worksheet with a few problems where you have to identify in groups of two sentences which one contains the double negatives. Okay, guys, thank you very much, and goodbye.